Hi everyone, Anchita this side. Welcome back to AV Automation Hub. In today's video, we are going to learn one of the very important concept, which is API. When people hear the word API, they get scared. They think it's some complicated tech thing which only programmers can understand. But guess what? You use APIs every single day. So you're watching this video on YouTube. So there is an API which is working in the background. So you check your WhatsApp this morning. There's again an API which is working in the back. Maybe you ordered some food on the app like Zomato or Swiggy. That's again using API. Or you booked an Uber. So today we are going to learn about what is API, why learning API is important, and what are the benefits of API. So first thing first, API stands for Application Programming Interface. Now let's understand with a real-time example. Imagine you open Instagram. You open the app and you see your feeds, stories, and messages instantly. Do you know how it knows what to show you? So here's what happened. You tap the Instagram application. The app asks Instagram servers, hey, show me this person's feed. The servers send back all the posts, stories, and messages, and then you see everything on the screen. So this is how it works in very simple language. So who carries your request to the server and who brings back the response? That's an API. API is like a bridge over here. So you can just think of it like a delivery person. You order your food and they bring it back to you. You don't care how it was cooked. You just get it what you requested for. In very simple language, this is how API works. Now let's understand some everyday example. So most of the people, they use WhatsApp. You send a message and the API is the one which is responsible for delivering your message. In this case, there are WhatsApp API, which is used to send and receive messages, which handle delivery status, which handle notification and automate the communication workflows for business. The next example is Uber. When you book a ride on Uber, there is map, there is payment, and there is SMS. So in this case, there are Google Map API, which are used for location search and live mapping. Then there are APIs for the payment, which handles secure payment transaction. Then there are APIs for the SMS. Next come Netflix. Most of the people, they watch Netflix, right? So in this case also what happened? APIs fetch the user data like recommendation, current watching list, and continue watching list. So API is the one who is doing all this actions. Other example is Zomato. For example, you have any food delivery application in which you see the menu, you see the payment, you see the delivery tracking or notification. It is all using the APIs. So all this platform use different APIs for different functionality. It's not just one API, but there are multiple APIs which are used in all these applications. Now moving to the next section, which is why do we need APIs? And what is the career impact if we learn APIs? So let's understand it role by role. For example, you are a developer. Imagine you're building a food delivery app without any API. For example, you have to use map because it's a food delivery app. You have to track where's the rider. So for that, you have to develop a map system in which there should be a satellite data, there should be GPS, and it will take years of work. Same thing, you have to build a SMS notification and similar thing for the payment system as well. So with APIs, what will happen? For payment system, you can use APIs like PayPal or Stripe. For map, you can use Google Map. For SMS, you can use APIs like Twilio. So without API, the things which are going to take you years will now take you days or weeks. So here is the summary of how it is beneficial for developers. Without API, building a payment system like Stripe or PayPal, it can take good amount of time. And building maps, it's like next to impossible. Without API, it requires 2 to 3 years or 1 to 2 years. But with APIs, you can just complete it in less time. Again, this number depends on the resources you have in your company. In case you just have one resource, then this count may not be feasible for you. But this is the generic data to show you without API and with API. Now let's talk about testers. If you are into QA and if you're not using API, for example, you have an e-commerce application. You are just opening the browser, clicking through 15 steps, let's say filling out the form and repeating it for each step. So 5 minutes per test, and let's say you have to complete 20 tests, that means 100 minutes. Now let's come to API. You are doing API testing. So for each action, there will be APIs available. So you can do API testing. You can write the automated script for API. There will be only API calls and no UI. And you can instantly validate the logic. So which takes 5 minutes per test. Now it will take you 2 seconds. And the demand of API is much, much higher than the demand for UI in the market. If you just compare the salaries of an engineer or a QA who have both UI as well as backend skill, have salary range much, much higher than the QA who has only UI skills. Even if we talk about manual testing or we talk about automation in testing, in both the cases, knowing API is much, much helpful. Now, let's say if you're not into QA, not into developer, even if you are a product manager, then again, knowing API will help you make your life much, much easier. Let's say your business team asks you to create a video calling app. So without API, you will panic and you might think it will take months or it might take a year. But you can develop the APIs or you can use existing API. For example, you can use Twilio API for the SMS. You can use PayPal, right? So the prototype can be developed in just 2 to 3 weeks. Learning APIs not only help developers, not only help QAs, but it also helps the product managers and anyone working in technology. Now here's the career impact. So these are the real numbers from the industry. So if you're using API, then your development is 10 times faster, your testing is 100 times faster, and can be 5 times more productive. So with the API knowledge, you will get better jobs because top companies, they need API skills and faster growth. Promotion also happens quicker if you understand about the backend concept, if you understand about the API. So this is the overall chart why learning APIs is helpful and the impact of learning API on different roles. With developers, like I said, you can build apps 10 times faster. You can use existing solution. You can just focus on your core features. Similarly, for the testers, you're testing API, so it will save a lot of time. It's not only about the automation here, it's about the API. 2 seconds versus 5 minutes, which used to take 5 minutes from the UI perspective. With API, it just takes 2 seconds. And you can find the bugs quite early in the stage. When we talk about shift left testing, that also means because UI takes time to build. Because for the UI to build, there needs to be API backend should be ready. Let's say in week 1, your backend is ready, but in week 3, you will get your UI. So as a tester, you should not wait for 3 weeks. You can start early in the stage. So in this case, you can start testing API, which will save your time, which will save company's time and the money and effort over here. Similar thing for the product managers also. PMs who have API knowledge, they know what's possible and what's not possible. Then they can give more realistic timelines. Instead of saying we can complete in, let's say, 6 months or 1 year, if they know we can build an API around it, then they can give more realistic timeline. Then based on this, you can also ship products faster and you can save companies money. Hope now you understood why do we need APIs for different routes. Let's take one more example of food delivery app. So what you build versus what you can use. So in this case, what you can build, your business logic, like the user interface, the restaurant listing, order management, and delivery tracking. So you can focus, this is your unique product. But the external APIs which you can use and which you don't have to build, that is basically, let's say for the payment, you can use Stripe. For the maps, you can use Google Map API. For the SMS, you can use Twilio. And for the mail, you can use SendGrid email. So you can just integrate and it will save you months of work. So what is the biggest benefit over here? You can focus on your product. For example, look at Uber. So it's a one application, but there are multiple APIs which are used. There are APIs for the maps, payments, SMS. They didn't build everything from the scratch. Uber focused on its product, that is connecting riders with the drivers, making the booking smooth, making drivers happy. So that's their core business. API handle everything else, right? So let's do a quick recap. What is API? API is like a messenger. It's like a waiter. When you, let's say, you go to a restaurant, you order a food and waiter delivers you the food. You don't need to know how it is cooked. You just ordered your food and you got the response. So that's an API, which is like a messenger, which is taking your request to the server and then giving you the response back, which is your food. Every application use API. Like I said, be it WhatsApp, be it YouTube, or let's say Instagram, Facebook, all these applications are using API. So APIs are simple, APIs are smart. So why use API? Because you can save time, you can save money, and you can focus on your product. So that's episode 1. Now you know what are APIs, where you see them, and why it matters for different roles. So if this video helped you in any way, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel, because this is an ongoing series. I'll be uploading more videos around the backend concept, where we will learn what are the different types of APIs, what is API key, what are the different HTTP methods, and with a real-time example, so that you can relate and then learn it easily. Thank you again for watching AB Automation Hub, and I'll see you in the next video.